Before I go in on this unpopular video, I would like to say the things that I think that JR actually did that was wrong. Just to show I'm not being biased in the situation, just saying how I feel. JR lied. That was it. He told his girlfriend Zena that he kissed Sandy one time. He kissed her 3 times. He told her that he wasn't all that into Sandy, but they pretty much was into each other. Other than that, JR didn't do a single thing wrong on this entire show. He's being cast as the ultimate villain. By the end of this video, I'm going to tell you, out of all 3 seasons, to me, subjectively, who is the ultimate villain of the entire seasons. And there's a reason that the only thing he did was those 2 lies. And that's because of the premise of the show. And I think fans have really forgotten the premise of the show. Why was the Ultimatum Marry a Movie On created? It was created because of the hosts, Nick and Vanessa, were dating. They decided to break up, see other people. After seeing other people, they realized that they were perfect for each other, and then they got married. So they said, let's make a show based upon this premise. Now, to me, in order to make a show based on this premise, it has to be real. How are you going to get the full experiment if it's for play? Because when Nick and Vanessa broke up, it wasn't for play. I must remind you guys what it means when Nick and Vanessa say that they broke up and dated other people. It means that Vanessa, that you see hosting the show, was bumping pelvises with someone else. It means that Nick was smashing other chicks, or maybe one chick, I don't know. But it happened to at least one person. They had a strong connection with someone, and you don't date somebody without having sex. I know it bothers you. I know how it makes you feel, but that's what happens. So I'm only giving you guys the truth. So in order for this experiment to be real, when you go and do your trial marriage, you have to treat it like a real marriage. In marriage, you have sex. In marriage, you kiss. Stop it. You guys are looking at the premise of a show. But in order for the experiment to work, this must be real. But it gets worse. To me, it depends on who brings the person on the show. It could change a lot. If you bring someone on this show who is not thinking about this show, you're telling the person, I want you to come here and I want you to date somebody else, and I want to date somebody else too. So if someone brings me on this show and they're falling head on and taking this experiment seriously, I'm going to think they never wanted to be with me. So what do we have here? We have the entire world saying that JR only came on this show because he wanted a hall pass. They show in the reunion footage of JR living up to this expectation. Clips of talking about smashing chicks, only talking about sex with chicks, picking the woman who was most likely to put out during this experiment. And at the end of this damaging clip they showed of JR, he literally says he wants a hall pass. The problem is the entire show is a hall pass. You're telling me to date someone else, to live with someone else, to introduce this person to my family. The only person I'm going to live with and introduce to my family is somebody that I'm really dating, I'm really kissing, I'm really having sex with. In order to get the full experiment, you must treat this like it's real. And it should be real. That's the premise of the show. Even in Nick's sad and pathetic display of how hurt he is over seeing Sandy with JR, Nick said they didn't do anything wrong because he's going off the premise of the show. They didn't, right? But the title of this video is not misleading. I'm being literal. I titled this video, JR did not go on this show to have a hall pass. How can you say that, John? He literally said it. What makes you sign on to do what most likely is a 6 months process to be picked for a show? I have tried out for a reality show. I went through an entire process. I had a film crew come down and fly to film me and go through everything to a pilot episode. It is a lot of paperwork. It is a long thought out process where they're making sure that you're going to be a good contestant on the show. So the reason that JR signed that paperwork would be the reason he went on the show. Why did JR sign the paperwork? Because his girlfriend asked him. JR went on the ultimatum because Zena asked him. Zena wanted to be on this show. Zena, who is friends with people from other shows. Zena, who has a big social media presence, wanted and asked her boyfriend to be on this show. So she's asking her boyfriend, who she told us she was worried that he's cheating. She's worried about his social media. She asked this man to go on a show and date somebody else in her face. But she wanted some rules. Behind the scenes, she was saying, don't kiss, don't do this, don't do that. Well, that's not taking the show seriously. I mean, we've seen people get kicked off reality shows for not taking it seriously. It seems to me that people want their cake and to eat it too. And it seems to me that Zena always wants to put herself in these situations where she can get someone to change. And speaking on this caveat, I just don't understand for the life of me why the entire internet is bigging her up on this girl power moment. Oh, you did him. You showed him, Zena. Where did Zena show him at? When they met on the final episode, she was so happy thinking she's about to get married. And the moment he said that they should break up, you see her hands literally jolt away and her face physically changed. Through everything that JR has done to her, she still wanted to marry him. But as much as we pick on Nick for crying over Sandy and doing all this, Nick left that show with his head up high. In the end, he made the decision to walk away. Zena allowed JR to make the decision. She didn't get to walk away. So I don't know why you guys are giving her this girl power moment. What happened after the show? How many times must someone tell you over and over and over again, I only want to be friends? She tried to push the situation. When they argued over this on a reunion, she never denied this. When she tried to defend herself, her own words were things that people do when they're trying to force a relationship. He's clearly saying, I don't want to be with you. I want us to be friends. She's saying, what are we? What are we? What are we? It's like she's doing these things and expecting an outcome to go her way. She'll go have sex with him. They'll be friends. Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? How many times must he tell you this? People don't want to see this because they view JR as a bad person. But if it was the other way around, if JR was doing the same thing to her, keep trying to be in a relationship, tries to do something buys her something for her birthday. She doesn't even show up for JR birthday, and she's constantly telling JR, I want to be friends. All the comments would be showing, dude, no one to move on. When do you move on? But she allowed this to happen over and over and over and over again. So I didn't see someone that's strong. I didn't see someone that has grown from a situation of knowing how you should treat yourself. I saw a go off on a person moment. I saw someone who I don't care about JR's feelings or whatever. I'm just saying what I saw. I saw someone blindside the other person. We're going to be cool. Everything's straight. Ain't nothing bad happening in our real life, but as soon as we get on this reality show, I'm going to go off on you. JR expressed that much, and every time JR expressed like this, kind of catching me off guard, I never saw her deny it. I'm looking for her to deny it. I'm looking for her to say, yo, we ain't been cool. Where is this coming from? So she's saying they've been cool. She's saying JR went to the vitro clinic and everything with her. JR doing these things as a friend, and the entire time he's stating that he wants to be friends, and she wants to push this toxic relationship into existence. This is showing me someone who has not learned to have love for themselves all the way. Sometimes when you like somebody, you can hurt them. You're going to show somebody who has not grown to choose themselves first. You're going to champion them. Then they're going to get into the next relationship and try to make something toxic work. Now, what I despise about JR and the reunion is JR constantly saying, I'm still trying to process what happened. Bro, nothing happened. You went on the show. You chose a person like you were supposed to. You kissed. You got feelings for a person. You realize the relationship is over. It's not going to work for you. In my subjective opinion, it did not work for you because you kind of felt like you're going to blow up from this show and you're going to have way more people. If people in my inbox before this show, imagine how many women I can have after this. That's just what I feel. I feel like you did not want to be catered down because there's so many awesome qualities about Zena as a girlfriend or as a future wife, and you're not ready for that. But don't get on here acting like you're such a crybaby victim, like all this horrible stuff happened, because if it did, you'd be able to explain yourself instead of constantly repeating over and over again, I'm trying to process. Shut up. You're not trying to process anything. I walk away from this And a lot of times I watch these shows and I'm thinking about the fans and the people watching, and I'm just learning when people like someone, they'll forgive them. When they hate someone, every single thing they do is wrong. And so we have a situation here where a woman dragged a man on a show. He did exactly what the show's premise was, and he is the worst villain ever on the show. Well, what about season 1? According to your rules, not mine, the worst person to ever step foot on the Ultimatum would be Shanique. See, Shanique had a loving, caring boyfriend by the name of Randall that she dragged on the show. Randall, only problem is he doesn't want to get married now. I want to focus on the word now. He loves her. He's monogamous. He's dedicated to her. He just wants a little more time before they get married. So she drags him on the show, a show that he clearly does not want to be on. On this show, Shanique sees a woman by the name of Madeline, who's obsessed with her boyfriend, Randall. This woman watched another lady be all over her boyfriend. But us as viewers watch Randall turn down Madeline at every wake and turn. He would not kiss her. He would not do anything inappropriate with this woman because he did not want to be on the show. He only wanted to be with Shanique. He's just going through the process until he gets to the end. But she let her fears of another woman liking her man on a show that she dragged him to get so big. What does she do? She goes and have sex with her partner, Zay. Crying every episode about her fear of Randall hooking up, she opened her legs to another man. I didn't hear anyone say anything about this. I didn't hear any big backlash of what Shanique did. So how can Shanique go after dragging somebody on the show, have sex with the person, but we're getting mad at JR, who was dragged on the show, for kissing somebody? Make it make sense to me. And the sad part about all of this is that 3 years later after that show, Shanique and Randall are married. So let me get this straight. Randall loves his woman. Randall is a great guy. Randall treats his woman well. Randall just wants to wait a little bit to get married. Randall proposes 2 years later. So all of this was for no reason. She got her cake and then eat it too. She's got married. She hooked up with somebody on the show that she dragged her boyfriend from. Why is she not the biggest villain, but JR is? That's just my 2 cents. I'm going to be speaking on probably one more couple on the show. I forget his name. The guy that make the villainous stare facing. I'll do a quick video on that, and then hope you guys have a happy holidays. Much more to come.